Good evening. This is Witness and I'm your host, Quatrina Hussain. The All Parties Conference is taking place in Islamabad as we speak, and it is one of the most significant developments in Pakistan's recent political history. Our relationship with the United States has nosedived following very adversarial remarks by the U.S. Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta as well as Admiral Mike Mullen. And the latest news just in is that the ISAF spokesperson in Kabul has endorsed the statements made by Admiral Mike Mullen and Secretary Leon Panetta, in which both men had accused the Pakistan military and particularly the ISI of, in many ways, controlling the Haqqani network. The Haqqani network, for those of you who may be hearing this phrase for the first time or in recent weeks don't know much about it, the Haqqani network refers to an organization that was originally founded by Jalaluddin Haqqani, who was one of the fighters. He is an Afghan. He was one of the fighters who were fighting against the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. His son, Sirajuddin Haqqani, then inherited in many ways the whole Haqqani network and the whole outfit. And today, the Haqqani network is resisting American forces and international forces in Afghanistan. The United States establishment, however, believes that Pakistan is, if not overtly supporting the Haqqani network, is tacitly supporting them. Now, of course, the Haqqani network is not based in Pakistan according to Pakistan's stated position. They believe that the Haqqani network operates in and around provinces of Afghanistan. And the rumor is, reports are, I keep using these words because we know nothing for a fact, that the Haqqani's network's people move in and out of Pakistan's North Waziristan tribal agency. Now, after the flurry of accusations from the United States, the government of Pakistan convened an all-parties conference in which 50-plus political leaders from both inside and outside Parliament were asked to get together to chart out Pakistan's future political course regarding relations with the United States. Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani made a very strong statement in which he said Pakistan cannot be pressured to do more. He said our doors are open for dialogue with the international community. The Prime Minister also said American statements shocked us and negate our sacrifices and successes in the ongoing war against terror. The APC, when it began this afternoon, was first addressed by Foreign Minister Hina Rabbani Kar, followed by the DG ISI General Shuja Pasha. The meeting, of course, has continued now for several hours. There was a break for dinner, and we will now go straight to our correspondent in Islamabad, Masrur Huseyn, who is our correspondent for Express 24/7. Masrur, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And can you give me some idea of what is going on right now? Have the political leaders gone back to their discussions?
Well, Katrina, the conference is coming to a tail end, and we are hearing that the participants have sort of gotten back to their working desk, and they are sort of hammering out the resolution or the communique which has to be signed by all participants. So it is any moment that the official communique could come out, or the Prime Minister or other leaders could come out and address the media and tell us what really happened in the conference, which started about 2:30 this evening. Now, this conference is being compared with the in-camera session which was held in the Parliament after the May 2nd incident, and most people, they do believe that this conference should be different from that, although it is still a sort of in-camera thing, but they believe that the media should be allowed to find out what's going on and what sort of discussion is taking place and what issues are being discussed. And at the end of the conference, the people expect that the conference participants will tell them what decision have they made. You know?
Okay, Masrur, stay with me now because I'm being joined by Dr. Senator Abdul Malik Baloch. He's the president of the National Party, one of the few leaders who chose to stay away from this conference. Dr. Baloch, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Baloch, why did you decide to stay away from this APC today?
Thank you very much. We received the invitation from Gilani through Mayor Bukhari, and we consult our senior party friends, and we reach a conclusion that the behavior of the Pakistan People's Party from last 3.5 hours was not good with Balochistan, because we are facing extrajudicial political worker killing and the killing of the innocent people, and there's a religious extremism. So we thought that Pakistan People's Party is not serious with the problem of the Balochistan, so we are, as a protest, we boycotted this conference.
Dr. Baloch, of course, I understand how you feel because the situation in Balochistan is in front of all of us. But my concern here at this point is that Balochistan, on this particular issue, when it comes to the United States pressurizing Pakistan regarding the Haqqani network, the second level of pressure is likely to come regarding the Quetta Shura, what the United States calls the Quetta Shura, with their belief that the Taliban leadership, including Mullah Omar, may conceivably be somewhere in Balochistan. Don't you think that this was an issue where you might want to have your say?
Of course, this is an issue, no doubt, but it's our experience that both the establishment, the American establishment and Pakistani establishment, they are very much close. They will sort out the problems. I think this depends on both establishments. The civilian leaders has nothing. They have just only supporting the establishment, and our conclusion that things will go in an easy way.
All right. Dr. Baloch, one of the important issues that, of course, comes up over here, I'd like to get your sense on it. You believe that the Pakistan establishment and the American establishment are very close regardless of what is going on. But this recent flurry of statements that we have seen from Admiral Mullen, from the U.S. Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta, do you think that this is an indication of a change coming from the American side towards Pakistan?
No, I think it's a pressure tactics from both sides, sometimes from American side, from sometimes Pakistani sides, but they know each other very well. They understand the point of view. This is the nerve testing.
All right. Thank you. Stay with me now, Dr. Baloch. I return to our correspondent, Masrur Huseyn, who is, of course, in Islamabad. Masrur, you heard what Dr. Baloch had to say. He feels that this is not really anything more than a storm in a teacup, so to speak, if I can paraphrase what his sentiments. So if you could give me some idea about what the sense is. You've spoken, I know you've been there all day today. You've spoken to the political leaders as they were going in. Give us a sense of what the political leadership of different parties were saying as they headed into the APC.
Well, Quatrina, I sort of endorse what the Baloch leader has said. When I spoke to the participants who were going into the conference, they said that, most of them, they said that this should not be taken as a photo opportunity and this should not be taken as an event for the political parties to bring through their points of view. It should be an occasion where the government and the opposition and the entire political spectrum should be seen as taking a stand, and taking a stand which is snapping ties with the United States. One of the leaders said that this is a time when we have to go for a paradigm shift in our foreign policy, and they said that this is the most important event in our history of foreign policy of Pakistan, and they said that it's time that the government of Pakistan did get away from the Americans and they had an independent foreign policy. Now, Imran Khan, as you must have heard, he said that this is time that we got out of the war on terrorism. He said that this is time that
he believes in dialogue and not the military option. I'm interrupting here, Masrur, because I do have some more politicians whom I want to get their perspective from them as well. Masrur, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to receiving updates from you as soon as that communique is, or resolutions or recommendations come through. Thank you, Masrur. And joining me now on the telephone is Sardar Mehtab Abbasi, who is, of course, a senior leader of the Pakistan Muslim League N. He's an MNA, and he was also very much part of that parliamentary session held in 2008, which formulated Pakistan's course, rather, that we were supposed to follow for foreign policy. Sardar Mehtab, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. Sardar Mehtab, what are your expectations after today's all-parties conference?
Thank you, Quatrina. I must be very honest about it. This was a real good opportunity for the government to take the whole as well as the nation into confidence over this issue, and by bringing all those agreements, tacit agreements or the templates which General Pervez Musharraf and subsequently the present regime has agreed with the U.S. administration, but I'm afraid that there is already a great division within the political parties on this subject. It is simply because there is a lack of trust between this government. But I understand that as far as our party is concerned, we have taken a very strong position that any aggression or any aggressive attitude by the United States towards Pakistan on this issue is not really tolerable, because we have already, Pakistan has contributed greatly to the so-called war of terror, and we have not been able to achieve, either the US has not been able to achieve any results. Same is for Pakistan, because Pakistan being the frontline ally, the so-called frontline ally, has also not been able to achieve any mentionable results, positive results. Rather, we have remained absolutely drowned in this situation.
Right. Sardar Mehtab, a crucial question over here which has really been bothering me ever since this whole situation started. Do you think that it is in Pakistan's interest to eventually target the Haqqani network? The reason I ask this is because I feel now that, given what America has said and Admiral Mike Mullen's aggressive statements, that even if Pakistan chooses to now go after the Haqqani network, it will be perceived as being under American pressure. What do you think Pakistan should be doing about the Haqqani network?
I should also be very straightforward in this subject, that till now, after 9/11, the information and all the intelligence reporting which has been made this world by America and their allies regarding Iraq and regarding Afghanistan, Taliban, OBL, all has actually proved a wrong to the maximum level. But I am very clear about this, and our party is also very clear that whether it is Haqqani group or any other group, Pakistan's territory must never be allowed for any terrorist activities, either this side or that side of Pakistan. If there is any issue between the Afghanis and the United States government or administration, this should be settled in the Afghan territory, not in Pakistan's territory. This is very simple. I think we should believe in that.
Okay, I agree with you there. That is a very valid point. Sardar Mehtab, thank you so much for joining me here tonight on Witness and sharing your views. We, of course, look forward to what we believe is going to be a press conference by Mr. Nawaz Sharif tomorrow after this APC. But thank you so much for having shared your thoughts with us today. And Senator Baloch, of course, you heard what Sardar Mehtab had to say. This is an interesting point I think he raises, that the Haqqani network is really an Afghan issue. The Haqqanis are Afghans and they should be settled on the Afghan side of the border. But Americans say that the control of the Haqqani network is in Pakistan's hands. Do you agree with that assessment?
It's exactly which I think the Pakistan should revisit the jihadi policy, whether they should be a part and parcel of the allied forces or its enemy. It is no doubt that there is continuously the Afghanistan and allied forces emphasizing their involvement in Pakistani side. I think it's very clear we must revisit and change the policy and go for a good relation with Afghanistan, because we are one way or other way, we are supporting some parts of the jihadi, there is no doubt.
All right, Senator Baloch, thank you so much. And of course, please do stay with us. Joining me now is Mr. Ijaz ul Haq, the head of the Pakistan Muslim League Z. That's his own faction. Mr. Ijaz ul Haq, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. The whole situation that we are seeing today, do you think that this APC is going to help bring the country into some kind of, onto the same page rather? Do you think that we'll be able to reach consensus on what Pakistan's foreign policy should be vis-a-vis the United States, Afghanistan, and most specifically about the Haqqani network?
I think first of all, it's going to be very difficult because there was no unanimous agenda, neither from the government nor from the opposition. I had suggested before this APC that at least the opposition parties, which should be led by the largest opposition party of Pakistan, which is PML-N, should evolve a consensus before